Today I'm installing a 16.2 inch screen in my Trail Boss. Now I've been down this road before and I'm hoping that the setup is much easier. The company that I'm working with is Zinnovations. I really like the software they use on one of the other screens I've tried out, so I really look forward to seeing how it does on a big screen. I've got everything unboxed with all the connections. Let me show you how to get the factory screen out and we'll get this installed. Behind this cover on the driver's side, take a 7mm socket to loosen the screw. On the driver's side and passenger side, carefully pop loose the side trim pieces of the center console. Once all the clips are free, slide the panel back and you can just leave it loose. Taking a trim removal tool, pop up the center console tray until it comes loose. There's a connector you will disconnect by pressing down on the tab. With a trim removal tool, we will take loose the bottom trim piece to reveal the 2 screws you'll need to take off. This trim piece by far is one of the hardest ones to get off. Just be real careful when you're popping that loose not to break it. To access the remaining screws, we will pop free the upper trim piece, slowly making your way around the screen. Now we can take a T15 to remove all 6 of the screws, pop the screen out, and disconnect all the connections. There are several factory connectors on the back that will have red tabs you will pop back with a small flathead screwdriver. Luckily, all of these connectors are different, so you won't have to worry about mixing them up when reattaching them to the new unit. Disconnecting all those connections is not that bad, except for the 12-volt outlet. For some reason, that one was really difficult to get out. So if you're worried about breaking any of these red tabs, I've done this several times and so far I haven't broken any. I now have to transfer some of the factory controls over to the new unit. You can see the cutouts right here, and then I'll also take loose the vents, and those will install right here. To get the vents out, we'll pop loose a couple of clips on the sides. To take this out, there's 4 T15 screws. And everything else is held in with clips. Now we can install everything in the new unit. Trying to install the trailer brake, I did run into an issue. The way this is supposed to install, it's supposed to slide straight down, but there's a tab right here that sticks out. I've got to modify this because there's nowhere for that tab to go. After making that modification, I was able to slide this into place. Now that's something you should definitely not have to do. I'll reach out to the company, and knowing them, they will definitely get it corrected. Going to install these controls, I noticed that there's not a place to install one of the 4 screws, so we'll just use 3. We can go ahead and pre-wire some of this before we stick it in the truck. This is one of the harnesses. Going through some of the connections, this is the 4G LTE antenna, and then you've got your GPS connection, and let's see, we've got the aux outputs for the audio, and we'll run that to our aux input in the truck. And then we've got, it does look like we have a sub out, so you should be able to hook a subwoofer to it. And then it's got video out, which would probably be composite. And then it's got composite video in. They've got an aux audio in left and right as well. The rest of these connections should connect inside the truck, so let's get that done now. Getting everything connected, I wanted to show you where I routed the cables for the GPS and the USBs. I routed everything through here, that way I can access them down here. Now I installed the LTE antenna right here. For this connection, it appears that there's 2 different models. So this one is for a 23 and up, and then this one is for my model, which is 18 through 22. So you don't want to use this cable if you've got a refresh model. There's also another cable in the bundle, but I'm really not sure what that connects to, so I'm going to leave it unplugged for now. You'll also want to make sure you'll route the analog audio down here, that way you can access it in your center console. I was able to get the screen in position. This uses 4 of the factory screws instead of the 6. So before we piece everything back together, let's turn it on and make sure the screen comes on. And So we do have a working screen, so I'm gonna make sure that I go through everything, learn everything I can about this unit, and we'll go from there. Getting this unit set up was surprisingly pretty easy. First, let's take a look at how everything connects together. This is the entire screen, and built into that screen is an Android tablet, your factory radio module, and CarPlay. So if you want to use video apps like YouTube or Netflix, using the aux input will cut down on audio-video delay. To get audio from your phone, you will keep your My Chevrolet Bluetooth connection set up the same, which you will use for phone calls. To use the built-in wireless CarPlay, you will connect to the SYU Android Bluetooth connection, which will also play through the aux connection into the factory radio module, and then out to the truck speakers. So basically, to get all your audio set up, you'll have 2 Bluetooth connections and 1 physical aux connection. You should already have your phone Bluetooth set up, so if you want to use CarPlay, you'll just go set up that SYU Android, and then you'll make that one last connection to your aux in your truck. And if you don't have that connection in your truck, they make a USB to 3.5mm jack. Getting the screen turned on, I do want to mention that this already does come with a pre-installed screen protector. I have this set to boot up to the factory radio module. In order to do that, we'll hit the home button, and then we'll slide this over, go to settings, and then we'll scroll down to the general, and then we'll go to automatic start settings. So if you click on the car UI, anytime you turn on your truck, it will boot up to the factory radio module. Now there's also several other apps. If you want those to boot up automatically, you would select that here. Going over some of the navigation, if you hit that home button, this is the tablet portion, and then to get back to the factory radio module, you'll hit the car UI. And with this app, you've got all your factory controls built into the screen, and then you've got your factory AC controls that are now digital. And if you want to use any of those factory controls, you would just hit that to turn the air up. You can see it populate up here on the factory screen, and then we'll turn that back down, and then you've got all your other controls right here. Flipping back to the tablet portion, you've got all your apps up here. You can click to add favorites. If you want to select all the apps, you can hit that, or you can swipe back and forth. If you swipe down from the top left, it will also give you several things like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. If you hold those down, it will open up that menu. You'll notice there's a dot right up here up top. You can move that around anywhere you want to. This is also for navigating the system. If you click on that, you can hit the home button, which will bring you back to the home screen, or you can go to the apps, which you can scroll through right here if you're on a different screen. And then if we go back, accelerate, that frees up memory, and then common lets you add preset apps to this little system right here. And if we go back one more time, you also have a little settings menu for brightness and volume. While we're here in the apps, I want to show you a really awesome feature that they've added to this, and that is the ease of updating the system. They've got an app called the App Store. If you click on that when you're connected to Wi-Fi, if there's any updates available for the system, they'll be here. So that's a great feature, because it's really annoying trying to get updates for these systems from the company via email. The bar up top will be there when you're in the tablet portion, but if you're on the car UI, you have to swipe down from the top to be able to see that bar, and then it will go back up. Moving on to the AC controls, you've got a bar down here that's always there. If you hit that little button, it brings up more AC controls. You've got your dual climate on both sides if you turn this up and down, and this up and down. Now it does say like 143 because there is an issue with Fahrenheit right now. If I select Celsius, it will be correct, but they're still working on an update for that. So these are dual climate on both sides, and then if we hit that back down and we go back to our factory screen, you've also got all AC controls down here. And then one other place for the dual climate, you've got it right down here on the bottom. You notice that also says no right now because they're still working on that Fahrenheit issue. Another thing with this little bar, if you select that, it does not appear to automatically go back down after a timeout, so you just have to hit it again to get that off the screen. Outside of these two knobs being for the dual climate, when you twist them, when you press them, On the left side, that mutes the tablet audio, and then on the right side, if we press that, it brings up the tablet Bluetooth, where you'll find the SYU Android connection. Let's switch gears and talk about the wireless CarPlay connections. It does connect really fast, but I have had one small issue with it. Once you've connected your phone's Bluetooth to the SYU Android, the CarLink 2.0 app is right up here. If you select that, your phone will come up and say connect to CarPlay, and then you'll hit connect, and then it will populate on the screen. Now that we have the CarPlay set up, I want to show you how long it takes from the time you start the truck to be able to connect to CarPlay. So I'm not going to edit any of this. The truck is booting up, so we'll go over to the home and then click CarLink 2.0, and we'll see how long it takes to have the wireless CarPlay. And it's almost instantaneous right after you've booted up the truck and been able to click on the app. So it is really fast. I've been using the CarPlay for about a week now, and I've had no issue with audio coming through the aux port from Google Maps and music. The only issue I've had is sometimes when phone calls come in, or if I make phone calls, it doesn't always pick up over the My Chevrolet like it's supposed to. Sometimes it picks up with the SYU Android. Now, 9 times out of 10, it selects the correct audio source, but then there's just that one time where you have to go in and select your audio routing during the phone call and switch it from SYU Android over to the My Chevrolet. Now, if you want to add any apps to this, you'll click on the Play Store, and then you'll log into your Google account and then search for, let's just say, Netflix. So if we do that, and then we click OK, it'll bring it up. So we hit that and then install. Now that we're logged in, let's see if we can find something to watch for lip sync. I like to use Seinfeld because they talk on screen a lot. So we'll pull this up.
Had to come in? Yeah. But had to come in? Yeah, but maybe we'll get together? Had to and maybe? Yeah. No.
So seeing that, you can tell that the lip sync is a little off, but it is much better than if you were to use a Bluetooth connection. Flipping over to the YouTube app, I want to take a look at one of the videos I created for when I test these screens. So if we hit this, we can look at lip sync this way as well. So like I said before, it's not dead on, but it is better using that aux connection for audio. Navigating through YouTube seems to work fine. Let's click on a video, and if we want to bring that video down in the right corner, we just swipe down, and you can kind of move this around the screen anywhere you want to while you're still in YouTube. When you're ready to close out of apps or do some split screen, in the top right corner, if you select that, if you see this little bookmark, you can hit that, and then it will have YouTube up top and Netflix on the bottom. Now, I did notice you can't do that with the factory console. That's unfortunate, but you can do it with anything that has this little bookmark. And then when it's time to close apps, you just simply swipe up. There's a lot of different settings on here. Under General and then Factory, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've got several more settings. I really haven't had to change much except for when I wanted to go into that General and have the Factory radio module come on when I wanted to start the truck. The only other thing to check for the setup process is your vehicle settings to make sure they're correct. If you go into the panel select, you want to make sure you select your factory panel, hit OK, and then back. And then you want to make sure your screen resolution is the correct. For mine, it's 1280 by 768. And then I've got the 8-inch screen. So if we select 7-inch, it also has that one. Now, as far as the screen glare, we are in a controlled environment, and you're not going to get near as much as if you're driving down the road and the sun is beaming in. You will get some screen glare, and that's just due to you having a huge screen in your truck. There's just no way around it. Let's show you the camera works when you throw it in reverse, and then we'll flip through the different settings. Now, this comes on immediately when you're on the factory car unit, but let's say if we're over on the tablet portion and we throw it in reverse. So it will take a second for it to switch back to the factory module, and then you'll get the camera. Let's just do that a couple times so you can see it switching between back and forth. Now we're in drive, and then go back to reverse, and then we'll go back to drive and reverse one more time. So it has no problem switching back and forth. Now I want to tell you one of the biggest things about this screen, and that's mainly due to the company thinking ahead. In the future, if you have a problem with the screen and it goes out, or if they have an upgraded screen, luckily the screen pops on and off for an easier replacement. So that's a great thing because all your controls are digital, and if something happens, you don't have to reinstall everything. You can just pop the screen off, replace it, and it's gonna come at less of a cost. I can also see that being a benefit if you need to troubleshoot any connectivity issues. Now, I've tried out another Zinnovations screen in the truck, and if you don't want a big vertical screen that makes everything digital, they also offer a different model that allows you to keep your AC controls from the factory instead of turning everything to digital. So the good thing there, you've got options. So is this the best screen out there? I cannot say that. It kind of comes down to a personal preference. The only thing I can say, this system seemed a lot easier to set up, and the software seems pretty solid. I do want to drive around with it for a while and eventually do an update video on how things are going. But if you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to ask in the comments below. Well, thanks for watching, and until next time, we'll see y'all.